This is a watercolor tutorial by Ekaterina Smirnova. Today we are painting a stormy sky over the ocean. I will paint on a watercolor paper, square format. I will use Paynes gray, ivory black, olive green and French ultramarine. To begin, I will pre-wet my paper with regular water, and I would like to make sure that I wet it very well. I'll do it twice, and only the top part, not going across the horizon line. Once the paper is very moist, I will mix Paynes gray and ivory black together. I like to use butcher trays because they are very convenient, and once the color is mixed, I will test on paper and will apply it on pre-wetted paper. I'll make a nice gradient, making sure that the lower part is darker. Here's a little trick. To remove extra water from your brush, you can use a kitchen paper towel. By removing extra water, you are allowing the pigment to be more saturated on the brush. I will start shaping some clouds on the top part. The very top part is going to be very subtle and light colors. The gray is predominant in this painting. When I work with watercolor, I like to control the wetness of my brush. I remove all the moisture on the dry paper towel in order to collect extra paint from my painting, or I will use water in order to make the brush more moist, to move the paint around. As you continue on working with watercolor, you will understand the subtleties of this moisture control. Once I removed extra paint with a paper towel in order to form bright spots of the cloud, I am moving back to color and adding some shadows. Clouds are three-dimensional objects, which means that they of course have highlights and shadows. And the bottom part, again, I'm going to intensify. I would like you to pay attention and notice that all of this work that I'm doing right now, I am doing while my paper is still moist. If you did not apply enough water prior to painting the sky, you will see that the paper will start drying out and unwanted textures will start forming. For the next step, I need to collect an intense color on my brush. Once again, I will remove the extra moisture from the lower part of my brush, so only the pigment will stay on my brush. I'm going to make a test, and I see that it is very intense. Now I will be shaping the lower parts of the clouds. This is the shadow part, and it's very intense indeed. Another trick you need to know is that for this step, your paper cannot be too wet. If it is too wet, all of this black color will start spreading too far. But I just like to add a color and in some particular areas so it doesn't go very far away. Now, when I clean my brush and somewhat dry it, I will use this slightly moist brush to make a little gradient on above the dark areas. This will smooth out the shadow on the lower part of the cloud. Once I'm satisfied the way that my clouds came out, I'm going to use a hairdryer to dry this painting fully. The cloud section is all done. Now let's move on to the sea. I am mixing together olive green and ultramarine color. The sea is going to be quite green and much lighter than the sky, which happens so frequent on a stormy day. I am carefully applying the green color and allowing the textures of the paper to leave little white spots. They will look like little reflections of light on the waves. The lower part is a little more green, and I'm going to add a little more blue and add to the top part of the sea. This painting is completed. I would like to invite you to watch another tutorial on creating a different type of stormy sky.